Talk about U.S. auto sales as we dovetail to that from energy. They burned up the rubber in February. Look at the big three. I mean, your eye goes right to the top there. Chrysler killing it, notching its best February in 4 years.
But despite the speedy start to sales in 2012, AOL Autos columnist Lauren Fix says it's still too early to be popping the champagne bottle since she joins us now. Lauren, great to see you. Well, Chrysler, which I call the U.S. unit of an Italian car company, which is what it really is.
Yeah.
What are they selling?
True.
Because you see that 40% increase. I imagine a lot of SUV and trucks, but also some of the smaller cars, right?
Right, they're selling the Chrysler 200 and the 300, and then they've come in with a really nice product, very good price. And what consumers are looking for, it comes down to price, like anything else.
Price, but yet we saw, for example, the smaller Chrysler vehicle doing very well in sales. I believe it was the all-electric Fusion for Ford, looking very good too. I mean, it's kind of unusual. It's nice to see, at least, because for a while there it was really the SUVs still driving these, and it makes you then bring this to the question: if gasoline does hit $4 a gallon nationwide average, what happens, Lauren? Are the United States drivers in a slightly better position to absorb that cost?
Well, $4 was the magic number the last time gas prices went up. And everybody kind of said, well, my gosh, I'm looking for a car. You know, maybe I'll look at a hybrid full or an all-electric plug-in vehicle. But now what we're looking at is people saying $5 looks like that's a major number for people. That's what really impacts your pocketbook. And that's when consumers start thinking, you know what? I need to start looking at other options. But I always tell people, don't have a knee-jerk reaction and go out and sell your car, because you're going to take a huge hit on it unless you're trading in a lease or you're coming to the end of one. What I recommend people do is, if you do have a vehicle, there's a lot of smart things you can do to improve your driving style, you know, take care of your car and be car care aware. Those type of things are all going to help. That's really all you can do. But to go out and buy a new vehicle, I mean, you're looking at sales are up for January and February in the last few months of 2011. That has no bearing on what's going to happen with the rest of this year. If oil prices continue to grow like they are, people are not going to go out and buy these cars that are getting poor fuel economy. But then you look at what Ford and GM and Chrysler are putting out. They're putting out bigger cars that get better fuel economy.
Lauren, let's talk electric if we can, because there were two different pictures coming out of these numbers. On the one hand, a Volt did very well. Of course, they were starting from some pretty meager statistics. They weren't selling well, but they had a 69% boost. But look at the Nissan Leaf, another electric. They went down 29%. What did the Chevy Volt do right that the Nissan Leaf didn't last month?
Well, a little bit of memory will remind you that that's when the government went after GM for those Volt fires and all the sales kind of dipped off. Now that they've said this is not the case, the GM Volt is a safe vehicle, people are back to buying that as an option. However, yesterday, Nissan announced that the Leaf is going to be offered in all 50 states. So now you're going to watch their numbers come up. Overall, they've sold more vehicles than the Chevy Volt has. But there's a lot of plug-in electric or extended range vehicles. You've got the Fisker out there. Even Fiat 500 is going to be coming out in an electric car. Everybody's starting to offer this. But what's really, really interesting is the luxury line of these hybrid cars are selling like not at all. If you're looking at the BMW or the Infiniti, great product. The hybrid plug-ins they're just not selling. People don't want them. If you're looking at a hybrid car, they're going with a lower range price, also because you've got to compensate for that gas price.
It's expensive.
So you got to think about all these variables, and you look at the real numbers and you're wondering, why is a car company producing a car that's a high-end luxury hybrid and they're not selling any at all?
Lauren
Pretty much nothing.
Fix.
350.
Good to see you, Lauren. Thanks very much for explaining the numbers. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lauren.